Country Doctor and Carolyn Downs Community Health Centers want you to protect yourself and your loved ones by offering free Moderna or Johnson & Johnson vaccinations. If you are 18 years of age or older, come down on Wednesdays from 1 to 4 p.m. to the McKinney Center, 2120 South Jackson Street for your vaccination. You don't need an appointment or ID or insurance. For information, call 206 709 7198. This message brought to you by Country Doctor Carolyn Downs Community Health Centers and as a public service by Rainier Avenue Radio.org.
What up, y'all? Check out the show. Check out the big show. I'm talking about the Traffic Jam Drive Time Radio, Dirty Harry Radio, of course, Rainier Avenue Radio, Traffic Jam 4 to 6. If I could say it in multiple languages, I would, but I only know one. I'm not going to fake the funk. In the studio with my guy,
Kareem the Dream, the executive producer for Rainier Avenue Radio.
And all the females, all the beautiful women out there are telling me he really is a dream. And I'll say, you know what? That's all I needed to hear. Too much information, but Dirty Harry. All right, check out the show Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 on Rainier Avenue Radio. Contest, in-studio interviews, play-by-plays. We give you the ingredients. We're your chefs in the kitchen. Let's go. Kareem the Dream, Dirty Harry, Rainier Avenue Radio. Come on.
If you or a family member are 55 or over and need nursing home level care, but want to keep living where you are, check out Providence Elder Place PACE. This program offers healthcare, housing, transportation, and recreational activities. There are no co-pays or deductibles, and it's covered through Medicare and Medicaid. Providence Elder Place PACE works to keep you healthy and in your home. Call 206-320-5325 or visit providence.org Elder Place. Providence.org Elder Place.
Rainier Avenue Radio, your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hello there, world. I just love that glass shattering. And you're on Rainier Avenue Radio here with Shatter the Revenue Glass Ceiling. And I mean with an S, actually, because, well, glass ceilings are meant to be shattered, not just merely broken. And if you've been looking for a way to shatter your glass ceiling, then you've come to the right place. And I am here today with Davina Lyons. And we only just met this last March, not for a very long time, but we soon learned that we are actually two birds of a feather, and we're about to flock together for the second time this year. And so I would like to share something that Davina and I actually agree on, and that is that no matter what society has told you, done to you, or not done for you to unlock your inner power and hidden potential, you might want to become aware of that role that you play in all of it. And in essence, what we know is that our self-limiting beliefs can hold us back, and it is our mindset that will set us free. And you probably would agree with that. Today, we're going to explain and explore exactly what Davina means when she says, shatter your authentic self-awareness and resiliency. I love that. But here's a little bit more about Davina before we get started. Davina is on a mission to help people in their life and to help them to reach their highest potential. As the founder of Authentic Me Community and Workshops for Women, she promotes and inspires self-awareness and resiliency through in-person, virtual, and on-demand workshops, serving the unique needs of each member. Welcome to the show, Davina. Great to have you here.
Hello, hello. I'm so glad to be here, Bettina. Glad to be on the platform with you once again.
I know. You know, when we met in March, I just had this connection to you. We've still never met in person. You live in another state. And every time I see your face on a post and on social media, I always say, I've got to get to know that gal. And it's because of this inner knowing that we have something that is in common. You know, I've lived about almost 30 years now, diving deep into my inner mindset and inner knowing, and to literally unlock my inner potential with my master key, as I like to say. So what I'd like to start with is a conversation that is around awareness and presence. And I found my awareness through Eckhart Tolle, who's the author of The Power of Now and The New Earth, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Oh, yes.
Awakening to your life's purpose, right? And what he says presence is the state of consciousness and awareness of now. And he goes on his website to explain that how we experience external reality is either through our state of consciousness or unconsciousness, which is more likely to be the case, and the challenges that remain because all forms are fleeting. And you need to return back to that power of now through awareness. So you're absolutely here to tell us about how you got to that same place and that same knowing. And I'm so excited to be talking about this authentic awareness. So what does it feel like for you when you are completely aware, Davina?
Well, it definitely feels present in the now, as you said. I think that's definitely key, is that to be aware of your authentic self, your authentic feeling. And the only way to do that is to be aware of self. I often say that we feel inward what we see outwardly, and that what we are often feeling has to do with our environment. And so it also, we carry with us some of our past stuff, as you know, and as well as our future fears. And so to not be bothered by either, but to be in the present is probably the most powerful thing you can do. But before you can realistically do that, you have to do some work. And that's what I call becoming self-aware. And that self-awareness lends itself to resiliency, because the better you get at harnessing that power, the more resilient you become. And as you are more resilient, you are rewiring your brain, your subconscious stuff is being dealt with, and you are able to form better beliefs, and therefore you're more in. You can endure more. You can understand the reality of what really will happen, as opposed to the fear of what might happen. And I could go on forever on this, because, I'm really passionate about this, because this is life-changing stuff.
Yes, and even when you've done and you've practiced awareness and presence kind of thinking, you can still find yourself in a state of fear about something that's either happened to you going to happen to you in the future, or you think is going to happen to you in the future. That false evidence appearing real, where it's actually not even happening.
Right.
And or you could have a lot of pain and suffering by, rehashing all the things that shoulda, coulda done in the past, right? And so that going back and forth and just being aware at how precious the now really is. And in fact, the past doesn't exist, and neither does the future. So for all the planning that we do, for all the luxury that we have of, planning that long-term vacation, until it's actually in the now, it is not in the now. Exactly. I mean, it's a simple concept on some level. But what I've really gotten in touch with this awareness conversation is that it can be very painful if you are unaware, right? So I always use this example when I talk about this, when my father went to pass away, and, it was many months before when he was first diagnosed. And I chose, different than my siblings, different than his other family and other friends, I chose to not go to his death prematurely. I chose that every day that I was going to talk with my dad, that he was still alive. And although death was possible, probable even, that I would be very centered when I had any kind of engagement with him. And it really limited the amount of struggle and strife and pain that I experienced during his last 3 months. And then as we approached that inevitable death moment, it also was the same thing. I didn't allow my mind, because I'm in control of my mind like everybody, to go too far into the future or too far into the past. And he's been gone since 2006. And I still believe that the mindset is what helped me to get through this, what could have been a really painful opportunity. And instead it became a really amazing growth opportunity around this topic of awareness and presence. And I love Eckhart Tolle's references. Do you have any particular authors or people that you lean on for this kind of knowledge and wisdom?
Well, yeah. And I mean, I've definitely been a student of Eckhart Tolle as well, but I'm definitely, my number one teacher has been Brene Brown, because the whole notion of being vulnerable and being living in the present there's a certain amount of vulnerability to it. But being vulnerable and being authentic, that's like my core message. And I like what you share about your time with your father, because what I think people miss out on is the present because of so much ruminating over the past, and I like to say, yeah, the past is important, because some people will feel like you're a little bit dismissive if you say, that was in the past. It's not a get over it conversation. I really like to remind people that your past informs your present as well as your future. So yes, it's important to gain knowledge from past successes and failures, but it's what you do with it. But in the present, there's so much wisdom. You knew that your moments you were so conscious with your father. That's what you enjoyed. And I'm sure that's what your father enjoyed, that consciousness. He was very aware of where he was, but to see you handle it the way that you did was such a blessing for him. I'm sure it was. I mean, I wasn't there, but I just really believe that he was able to have some really good moments with you because of you being self-aware and able to manage that time and that opportunity. So that's awesome.
Yes. And it brings me to this next piece, which is all about reframing, right? So
yeah,
when you are having an experience, either in the moment or was in the past, you can reframe that experience such that it helps you to move and advance your life forward, as opposed to derogatory way.
Well, yeah. And actually I do it all the time. I stop and I think, and when I catch myself, because as you said, we're human. I mean, we all are, we'll still have these experiences. But what I've noticed is that it has been a tool and a resource for me to be able to stop and think and reframe. So, with Authentic Me, with my workshops, that's one of the main things that I teach is about focus, and the way in which you focus on the lens that you choose to see things through. And so reframing is very much so a part of that process. Absolutely.
Yes. And of course, as they say, what you focus on grows. So if you want
right.
something really vital to come into your life, you've got to focus on it. And if you're ruminating about the past, and, we can have a negative spin on just about anything, it can actually mess with your life considerably and lead to a lot of pain and strife and probably even some medical conditions. So this reframing.
Definitely.
Yeah, this reframing is an important strategy that you teach in Authentic Me. And by the way, I love the title of your program, Being Authentic Me, because I get to own that. I don't know. It's not about anybody else. It's all about me. We come
Turn the lens
in the universe that way. And somewhere along the line, society messes us up and says it's all about other people. And reality is it's always about ourselves. Because when we take care of ourselves, that saying about putting on your oxygen mask first is really, really true. The more you put that on yourself, you realize that's the only way that you can actually help others, right?
Absolutely. And the other, I think the key point too for your listeners, Bettina, is that you really have to understand that we train our brain. So if you get good at reframing situations that are not serving you well, you're literally changing and you're training your brain to fire in a different way and to process in a different way. And that is what lends itself towards resiliency. When you're young and you go through something, oh my God, the sky is falling. I used to say that all the time, henny penny, the sky is falling. And you just freak out about something that now, if you think about it, as we get older, when we see something or experience something that we've already seen and we know you're not going to die, it's going to be okay, maybe disappointing, whatever, but you also learn how to handle it in the process. So that's super important.
I absolutely agree. And I've been writing this book called Shattering the Glass Ceiling, Unlocking Your Inner Power with your hidden potential with your master key, because I truly believe that once I got through any societal blocks, which there were many in terms of race and sex as a woman growing up, and I'm now in my 60s, I have to say that I had to own what was my jailer, and it was me. It was me.
Right.
I kept myself in that little jail. I'm the one who limited myself by the beliefs that I allowed to have in my mind. And I started to brainwash myself. And, I have this saying, if you ask most people if they feel empowered in all areas of their life, they're likely to say no. And it's my belief that the answer is within their self-limiting beliefs. And that alone will keep them from fully expressing their talents, intelligence, and power. And I'd love to get your comments on a little bit more on that topic.
Yes, absolutely. Well, so I'm a very visual person, so I see things. So when you say shattering, I'm thinking about when you're shattering, when glass is being shattered, it's not just a one-hit thing, right? It's a constant coming at it, and then it just continues to shatter. So there are so many different ways to create those fragments and ultimately to break through, but really turn the lens inward, look at yourself, and instead of playing small, play full on, right? Go for it. Be courageous, be confident. Fear is one of the biggest things that holds people back. And not trying to stay in your comfort zone. That's another thing. Do something to get out of that zone. And so I think about tools to shatter the glass is to know who you are, know your self-worth. Again, live authentic, live in your truth, be okay with who you are, be purposeful, and be okay with failing. Be motivated intrinsically based on what matters to you, not what matters to the people around you. Have standards. Be okay with having standards. Don't let anyone shame you into saying, hey, this is my bar, and this is where I choose to live. And if you're trying to take me below that, I can't do that. I'm sorry. Just surrounding yourself with positivity and good people. So there's all of those things to me are like ways to shatter that glass. But if you notice, it all pertains to self-awareness and being able to stand up for yourself.
Whether you're talking about self-sabotage or that you're suffering from imposter syndrome or you're experiencing some self-loathing around your body image, the impact can be really devastating on your self-esteem and your self-worth, and why it's not even worth it. I mean, it's not worth it for all the opportunities that are lost and all the pain that it causes in you emotionally. And it sounds like we're Pollyanna and we're rose-colored glasses and we're seeing the rainbow, not the rain. Yes, this is true. This is a reframe. This is a possible way. And I'm not discounting that there might be moments of real pain, real fear. There's things that can come up and harm you. I'm not saying those that you can disappear those so quickly. What we're talking about is the mind in control of your life instead of you in control of your life. And so I found that if you want to transform the mind, you almost have to practice a form of mind control over yourself, right? Because it's really, really difficult. And this is why, I would actually say years ago, my book title was actually called Breaking Through Your Own Glass Ceiling. And I found that every time I tried to break through my glass ceiling, it was like hitting up against plexiglass, and all it would do is be bounce back, and it'd be like, dang it.
Yes.
And I had the opportunity last year to shatter my revenue glass ceiling specifically. And in that case, it literally was just a one punch and bam, the whole thing shattered like glass and in just itty bitty pieces. So, that little tool that you can buy on that 800 number late at night that can just save your life if your car is drowning, you're about to drown in the middle of a river. You can just hit the one corner and then all of the glass. That's what awareness and presence can do for you.
Right.
It can literally just immediately banish fear and self-doubt and self-loathing and self-recrimination and all of those things. So this work that you're doing is so imperative for anyone who wants to really go through a ladder of success or have a better life, or however you want to characterize it. And so I'm excited that we've come together and that we're on the same page. And we're two different people on two different states, and we got there we got to the same conversation. So this is an important conversation. And when you think about it, like saying applying this to the workplace alone, you may find yourself not having the self-worth, and then all of a sudden you can't ask for the raise, or you might find yourself charging too little for a product or a service that you're offering. This literally can completely limit your life potential. And the opposite is true when you're aware, and when you're present, it can just pop you right through. So we talked about focus, and we also talked about resiliency just a smidgen. So let's dive a little bit deeper into resilience, because that's actually what happens once you've been practicing this for a while.
Right. Yeah, your core belief system starts to really get reinforced, and you believe more in yourself, like you said. So some of those self things that are not healthy or that haven't served us well, once you become resilient, you realize that those things are not true. And that, you realize that you can endure so much. Years ago, I did a workshop where I would give every single person who came through the door a rubber band, and it would be from an assorted bag of rubber bands. I'm telling one of my tricks, right? And so different colors, different widths, just that miscellaneous bag of rubber bands. And during my presentation, I would have everyone hold up their rubber band and stretch it. From the platform, I could see the people who were afraid to stretch further than others. I could see the ones who were like, I'm going to break it. Let's see if it'll break. You could see the different personalities through this, visually. But one of the things I realized is that people are at different levels of resiliency, but whatever level that you are, you can strengthen and reinforce it, but you can't do it unless you do the work of figuring out who you are. You can't figure out who you are until you are tried and tested. So maybe you can't stretch that rubber band. I mean, you won't know if it'll break if you don't stretch it. It's the same thing in life. We really have to truly live, to know what living is all about. And so that is what builds character, strength, and resiliency, is to truly live and experience things and not be held back by the negatives, the cans. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And what I like to say is stop scaring yourself so much.
Right.
Like I will literally go to do something, and then it's a little scary. And then I'm like, stop scaring yourself silly. You really can you can get this. You can do this, girl. You've got it,
You've got it.
And so this is really a great conversation. Tell us a little bit about your programs and how people can tap into you.
Okay, great. So I started in 2018 with Tribe Authentic Woman. So some people will see that out there. It's all over social media. And I rebranded this January of 21. I rebranded to Authentic Me because I initially was focused on creating a tribe, women coming together that were like-minded, and the emphasis was on the tribe. And then I realized women don't have a problem coming together. That's a misnomer. What we have, what I think the bigger struggle is loving yourself. And so I decided that I would turn the focus on me, authentic me, like you said earlier. The goal is to live my best authentic life and reach my highest potential. That means I'm going to have to give my resources to myself. That means I'm going to have to use that oxygen mask and be okay with it. And so that's where we are now. And it's workshops. I'm developing on demand, developing a learning management system that will be sort of like an online university that's launching soon, of personal development courses. Super excited about that. And also I do in-person workshops here locally in Mesa, Arizona. And I will continue post-COVID. I still will continue to do online and virtual workshops. Great. I'm also launching Authentic Best Life for teens and young adults, because I think that's a different conversation, but they still need the same type of nourishment. So that's where we are. And I focus the lenses that I focus on, 8 specific lenses: identity, personality, behavior, values, beliefs, needs, motivations, choices. choice theory is big. You make choices
Yes.
every single day, all day. Why do you make the choices you make? And what motivates you? So we really dig in deep and look at those things at a personal level.
That's great. And we're stepping into emotional intelligence stuff now, right? Which is in your program. So we're going to have you come back to say, to get. So again, what's the website? What's your phone number if you give that out?
Okay. It's DavinaLyons.com. And I typically don't give out the phone number, but you certainly can reach me through the contact in the website. And I'm on all sorts of social media, from, Instagram, Twitter. I'm not doing TikTok, but I'm on there. But Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. And I have a Facebook group, Davina Lyons Facebook group. But definitely DavinaLyons.com is the best place to start.
Okay, that's great. What's your last tip? Thoughts, 30 seconds or less?
Again, I have to say, it's just pretty simple. It's just love yourself. Put the attention on yourself and embrace who you are. That's it. However you can get there.
That's right.
What you need to do.
I love it.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Davina. It's been so great to have you, and it's been an enlightening discussion, which we're going to have to continue, of course. And we'll definitely have you back, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into EQ. That's emotional quotient.
Yes.
So our next show coming up on Rainier Avenue Radio is God is Inspiration, and our programming for this week features Clean Greens Farms and Market Block Party Grand Opening, broadcasting this Saturday on Rainier Avenue Radio from 11 to 3 p.m., where fresh produce is being given out to low-income families in need for free. Thank you, Davina, and those watching, listening, and sharing this interview on us, Rainier Avenue Radio, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.